Last up a canal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I run in tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. Here with all my friends and them. No place like home.
WEFM, the new fresh sound. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Welcome back. Welcome back, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The time is now 7:45. And welcome back to Activated Mornings this morning. You're listening to Ariane, of course, Christal. And we just want to say again, good morning to everyone locked into 99.9 WEFM. What we're going to get into now is the same topic that we just left off on, really. The young man to be sentenced on three counts, including attempted rape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the article here on Searchlight quickly. A bus conductor, there's the answer. A bus conductor will be sentenced in April after admitting in the middle of a trial that he abducted, committed buggery, and attempted to rape a child with special needs. And that is what stands out the most in this story. Kevin Durant, who was 18 years old at the time of the offense, appeared at High Court Number 2 on Wednesday, February 22nd, 2024, before Justice Ricky Burnett to commence his trial after entering a not guilty plea that on March 1st, 2021, at Redemption Shops, he abducted, committed buggery, and attempted to rape a 17-year-old special needs child. But before the trial commenced, lawyer Carl Williams informed the judge that he will be recusing himself from the case. Williams, however, remained in court to cross-examine the virtual complainant in Durant's stead to prevent any further trauma. Although Durant denied committing the offenses, he declined the opportunity to cross-examine the virtual complainant's neighbor, head teacher, and a medical officer who testified in the trial. This seemed to have annoyed Williams, who was seen grumbling to him and gesturing to Durant each time he chose to remain silent. The victim's uncle testified in court that on March 1st, 2021, he was at home when his neighbor was shouting his name. After a discussion, he headed to the victim's home, where he was informed of the incident by the helper. He then asked his niece what had transpired. She said she was sent to the shop by the helper. She said she met this guy and he pulled her in a house and raped her, the victim's uncle told the court. I then asked her, if you see this guy, would you know him? He continued, adding that his niece responded in the affirmative. The uncle said that they both got into his vehicle, drove to the area where the incident occurred, and had his niece point to the house to which she had been taken. After seeing that house was closed, and no one was in the yard, he drove past it. Upon reaching a junction, the virtual complainant declared, "There is the guy, uncle." So I shouted and said, "Young man, I would like to have a word with you." Real polite. And I asked him to come to the vehicle. He told the court, adding that his niece was able to identify the perpetrator from among a group of people. The victim's uncle said that Durant hesitated for a short while and made his way to the vehicle. The uncle said he asked Durant if he knows the virtual complainant, to which he responded in the affirmative. When the virtual complainant uncle asked Durant the nature of his relationship with his niece and what he did to her, Durant responded nothing. Durant, however, admitted to knowing of the virtual complainant's intellectual disability. The uncle said that he asked Durant to come into the vehicle so that he could take him to the police station, and the young man complied. When the uncle asked Durant why he didn't run, Durant responded, "For you to come run behind me." When the uncle asked Durant to come clean, he told the court Durant said that he met her and they were talking, and he carried her down in the house and she went. He said that they started talking and kissing and he put his hand under her clothes. The uncle said that said to the court that he took the young man to the police station and the officers conducted investigations into the matter. Durant still chose not to cross-examine the uncle, even after being asked by the judge numerous times if he really had no questions to ask. When the judge took a short break, Counsel Williams went over to Durant and had a private conversation with him. After some time, Williams began walking back and forth between his colleagues and Durant, discussing the remaining of the sentence when one-third discount is granted, as well as the aggravating and mitigating factors of Durant's case. Such factors are only relevant if one chooses to plead guilty to the offense. However, Durant refused to budge. Counsel Williams told his colleagues that it seemed that Durant would rather take the longer custodial sentence than a shorter one. I tried hell hard to help him, but he didn't want help, he said to them. Just moments before Justice Burnett returned to the courtroom, Williams went back to the box where Durant was sitting and they had a brief conversation. Williams then approached senior Crown Counsel Richie Maitland and told him he wants to plead guilty. When the court resumed, Maitland informed the judge on the change of events. The charges were read back to Durant and he pleaded guilty to the charges. The 9-member jury was dismissed and Durant was remanded into custody. He will appear in court on April 12, 2024 for sentencing. That's an interesting story.
And it's not an unfamiliar story to me.
Not at all.
I was looking through my phone to confirm something because it's not an unfamiliar story to me. And I'm wondering if the story in my head and this are the same. But anyways, besides the point. Where do we begin with a discussion like this? When just last week we were talking about sexual assault, right, and why people hold on to certain things for such a long time. I in a way, now while the uncle's response is a textbook right response, like the way he dealt with it, I think I have to commend him for doing that because or for responding in such a calm manner, because I think anybody else, he would have get some licks from some people, and that individual might have been on the wrong side of the law, just like what we saw coming out of, oh gosh, I forget the community now.
Rose
Hall with the baby. A bus conductor, giving bus conductors yet another bad name, because they already have had past conductors, not sure about the present, who have given them bad names. Your age, you were 18 years old at the time. You know better, right? You confessed to it. You admitted to it. You pled guilty to the charges. Abduction, buggery, and attempted rape. And this is one of the reasons why some people do not want the buggery laws to be taken off the books. Because here, if they were already taken off the books, he would have gotten away with a crime. Well, an immoral act.
I'm a bit conflicted. Is it, or at least do you believe that it is a case of actual rape? Oh, sorry, attempted rape and abduction? The buggery, I believe, definitely clear, but the abduction and attempted rape, is it an abduction or attempted rape because of their disability?
No, it wouldn't be that. It would be based on the facts of the case and what she said, what he said. Well, mostly what she said.
We don't have everything from the case here in the article, but if he's saying that they were talking, he carried her down to the house and then made a move, then is it that because she didn't know any better, that is why it is classed as that? Because I didn't, see, maybe me, as a journalist, I'm looking for specific wording because it didn't sound like he forced her down to the house. But if it is that he carried her down to the house, knowing that she's not 100% there in terms of her intellectual disability, then I could understand how maybe it could make sense that he would be charged for these things. But if it is that these are the case, these are the facts of the case, that he approached her, invited her down to the house, and did whatever, then I'm not sure how abduction and the attempted rape would come into play unless at some point she declined consent. But if it is that it is because he approached her because he knows that of a mental disability and he took advantage of that fact, then I could understand these charges a bit more. But I'm just curious based on what I'm reading here from Searchlight.
Oh, interesting.
I mean,
point of view.
it's wrong. It's wrong across the board. But I'm just trying to understand like the nitty gritty exactly. But at the end of the day, and I think Trevor Bailey had suggested it, if not come outright and said it, that when these young girls, and we often see cases of these young girls going missing and they're found in these homes, that persons are usually charged. And unfortunately so, not all conductors, but a lot of bus conductors are the culprits of inviting underage girls. But in this case, they were over the age, 17 and 18. But they always, or let me not say always, they're mostly bus conductors that are found with these younger girls committing fornication. So I'm wondering what it is. Because that's not the only profession that you come into dealing with young girls. So why it is that the bus conductors are the ones mainly committing these acts? You know what I think? Maybe if we had a uniform bus system, then maybe they could then offer some sort of therapy or psychiatric evaluation into why it is that these specific men are the ones committing these acts.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, how do I respond to that one? The thing about certain men, I guess within the profession, is, well, holistically, just because you don't hear something, it doesn't mean it's not happening.
Definitely.
Right? So it very well might be in reality without doing, a proper research and gathering information, and it's very difficult for something like this.
Mm-hmm.
They may not be the classing with the highest incident rate of sexual offenses, especially as it concerns minors. It's just that maybe their business gets out on the street a bit more. But regardless, wrong is wrong.
It's way too
wrong
common.
is wrong.
It's way too
wrong
common.
is wrong. It doesn't really matter which class, how much money you're making. Leave people, girl, children alone. Leave women alone. Leave little boys alone. Leave man alone. If the person says no, you already know your intent. Oh gosh, leave them alone. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Don't try to drug them and take advantage of them. Don't try to drag them in places and take advantage of them. And a lot of times, most often than not, you're going to prey on the vulnerable. Vulnerable in terms of maturity, vulnerable in terms of age. Age don't always equal maturity. All right? Just leave them alone and go find your sex and size. Not sex and size. We'll find your size. Sorry, a colloquial term came in there.
I'll say this much. It is absolutely disgusting for you to approach someone on the spectrum knowing that they probably don't understand what is happening, knowing that they probably won't push back because, again, they don't understand what is happening. And it is absolutely disgusting that you would go commit whatever you commit and then go and lime in like normal. Like, all is well. The uncle approach you, I ain't going to kill up because I ain't going to have you run me down. Yeah, and I know it probably because he believed nothing would have come out of it.
Because of who the person, the perpetrator, the victim is.
Yeah, and I strongly believe that is it. But I really do think that's something uniform, not just in the bus system, but generally. I really would like to see some sort of report get some sort of understanding to how these things get to these places. How is it that certain people decide, okay, I'm going to 100% take advantage of this person? Like, where did your socialization break down to the point where you got there?
I could tell is towards, you're nasty.
Mm.
No need no research for
Could
that.
be no, it could be a lot. It could be very layered. It
You're
could be a
nasty.
lot of circumstances
So socially,
why it came to that.
you've been taught that it is right for a man to take sexual advantage, any sort of advantage over a woman. I tired. Sometimes I just get so frustrated and tired. It is a frustrating topic. It is a tiresome topic.
Mhm.
It is an upsetting and aggravating conversation to have all the time because it's happening all the time. 8 o'clock is the time. 8:01. We're gonna
Yeah.
take a time check, and when we come back, Dr. Gerald Thompson will be joining us as usual on a Monday morning. I wonder how many years he's gonna get. That's the next conversation.
We have to monitor it closely. The time now, as Christal said.
Oh, it's gonna come. Oh no, it's not going to come after the years, the changes, the amendments to the bill.
April 12th.
No.
Yeah, as Crystal rightfully said, the time is 8:01 here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and your time check was brought to you by New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of life.